Welcome back, Focus Learners. Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're reverse engineering the ultimate piece of human technology. We're talking, of course, about language. Using the comprehensive MEG4 academic framework as our guide, we're going to unpack the gears, wires, and circuits of human communication to figure out exactly how this whole shebang works.
Okay, here's our syllabus for today. We'll start with 1, defining human language, move right into 2, sounds, syllables, and words, explore 3, the rules of structure, decode 4, making sense of meaning, and wrap it all up with 5, language in society. We are scaling all the way from the microscopic biological building blocks of sound straight through to the massive societal impacts of communication.
Section 1, defining human language. To kick off this micro to macro journey, we really need to strip away our everyday assumptions and ask a pretty fundamental question. What exactly separates human language from simple animal instinct?
To answer that, we have to look at 2 defining properties that are entirely unique to human communication. First up is arbitrariness. Basically, this means a dog doesn't inherently bark the letters D-O-G. There's literally no physical or natural connection between that string of sounds and the furry animal it represents, right? It's a completely arbitrary, agreed-upon code. Second, we have duality of patterning. This is wild. It's a concept that allows us to take a tiny handful of completely meaningless physical sounds and smash them together to build an absolutely infinite number of complex meanings. Our source text establishes these properties not just as fun trivia, but as the absolute rock-solid foundation for all linguistic study. I mean, let's be real. Without arbitrariness and duality of patterning, our incredibly complex, open-ended system of communication just wouldn't exist. Moving to Section 2, sounds, syllables, and words. Let's zoom into the literal, raw materials of our language machine, the distinct fields of phonetics and morphology. You know, we often think of language as this purely mental thing, but phonetics is fiercely physical. It actually operates through a highly precise biological sequence. First, your lungs push air upwards. Then your vocal cords act as a vibrating filter. Finally, your articulators, your tongue, teeth, and lips, physically sculpt that moving air into recognizable sound waves, creating distinct consonants and vowels. Actually, try saying the letter P out loud right now. Seriously, do it. You can physically feel that sudden burst of air you just sculpted. So once we have sculpted those individual sounds, we snap them together like linguistic Lego bricks into what linguists call morphemes. A morpheme is the true atomic unit of meaning. Take the word unbreakable. It's actually 3 distinct morphemes: the core root break, the prefix un, meaning not, and the suffix able, meaning capable of. The source material brilliantly breaks down large, intimidating vocabulary words into these small, highly mathematical parts. Morphology shows us that we aren't just memorizing whole words. We are constructing them, systematically, from these tiny, meaningful blocks. Section 3. The rules of structure. Now that we have our word bricks, we obviously need a rigid architectural blueprint to build the house. That brings us to the science of syntax. Syntax gets a bad rap, honestly. It isn't just a list of frustrating grammar rules your grade school teacher gave you to make sure you use commas correctly. Syntax is actually the hidden subconscious operating system running in the background of your brain. It allows you to process and arrange incredibly complex thoughts in real time so that other people can actually decode them. Our explainer highlights this perfectly by contrasting a grammatically flawless structural tree with one that breaks our internal rules. When branches fall apart, it is undeniable visual proof that syntax dictates flow. If you violate the mental hierarchy of noun phrases and verb phrases, the whole linguistic structure collapses. If I say to you, tree the barked dog at, your brain just short circuits. The entire structure falls apart, even if you know what the individual words mean. It's a mind-bending concept, really. What we actually speak out loud is just the surface structure. That spoken sentence maps back to a deep structure, which is the underlying abstract core meaning in your brain. For instance, the dog bit the man and the man was bitten by the dog are totally different surface structures, but they share the exact same deep structure in your mind. To translate that deep thought to surface speech, we rely on strict word order rules, like standard subject, verb, object ordering in English.
Section 4, making sense of meaning. But here's the catch. A perfectly structured syntactic sentence is completely useless if it doesn't convey an idea. That leads us directly into the realms of semantics and pragmatics.
To really understand meaning, we have to draw a hard line between 2 distinct fields: Semantics is what a sentence literally says on paper. It's the strict dictionary definition. Pragmatics, on the other hand, is what the speaker actually intends in the real world. If someone asks you, "Can you pass the salt?" semantically, they're questioning your physical ability to lift a salt shaker. But pragmatically, they're just making a polite request for you to hand it over to them. Context is absolutely everything.
The text brings up this legendary linguistic example. Colorless, green ideas sleep furiously. Syntactically, it's flawless. The nouns, verbs, and adjectives are in all the perfect places. But semantically, it's completely devoid of logic. It means absolutely nothing. This brilliantly proves that syntax and semantics are entirely separate systems running simultaneously in your brain.
Section 5, Language in Society. Finally, we've got to zoom out to the absolute macro level. We've looked at the biology, the structure, the meaning. Now we must examine how this intricate machine lives, breathes, and evolves within human societies. One of the biggest takeaways from our source text is that language is never, ever static. English has undergone radical, historical transformations across 3 distinct eras. We shifted from the heavy, Germanic, Viking-influenced Old English through the French-infused vocabulary of Middle English following the Norman Conquest, right on up to the early modern English of Shakespeare. Language is constantly rewriting its own rules to adapt to the people speaking it.
And beyond sweeping historical eras, everyday society is constantly warping language right now. Our geography creates regional dialects, our social class dictates professional registers, our age generates rapidly shifting slang. Think about how quickly internet terms enter our daily speech. Language is intrinsically tied to cultural identity. It is a living, continuous evolution shaped entirely by the pressures of human interaction. The overarching takeaway from the MEG4 material is this. Language variation, whether it's a deep regional accent or a generational slang term, isn't incorrect grammar. Not at all. Instead, it's a naturally occurring, highly patterned reflection of our diverse, complex world. The machine simply adapts to the terrain. Which leaves us with a massive thought to ponder. Knowing that our linguistic machine has continuously evolved from raw physical sounds to incredibly complex, shifting societal structures, we have to ask, how will our current digital age, filled with emojis, text shorthand, and artificial intelligence, fundamentally redesign the languages of tomorrow? Will AI create an entirely new dialect we all have to learn? The linguistic machine is still being built, and honestly, with every text you send, you're helping to build it. Thanks for learning with us today.